Okay, the big mama guppy finally had her baby. She was almost a whole week overdue, and she had a lot of babies. I have to siphon this tank and do a water change. It's a little bit cloudy. I didn't want to disturb the mother fish, but she was so big. I was worried she was going to die. But she must have had, I've counted around 35 at least. She had 35 babies in here. They all survived, as far as I can tell. It's a little bit hard to see. There's some of them. They're just all over the tank. I mean, she had a lot of babies. This worked out really, really well. We had her in here alone, and we bought some off of Amazon. We bought some plastic green Easter grass, and I forgot to take a video footage of that. Should have taken it because I took the Easter grass out this morning because we're removing the mother guppy now from the tank. But we put Easter grass on the top, and when the babies were born, they all were hiding in the Easter grass, so the mama couldn't eat them. Normally the mother guppy won't eat while she's in labor, but once she's finished labor and finished having her baby, she's very hungry, and that's when she'll eat, and the other fish will. So this time we put the mother guppy in this 10-gallon tank all by herself, and we, of course, we have this plant and a few rocks and a thermometer. We also put a heater in here because the temperature just wasn't quite warm enough. And she was very overdue, but there are so many baby guppies in here. I thought she was going to have a lot. She just was so big. I thought, my goodness. I haven't actually counted, but there have to be around 35 guppies in here. There's a lot of baby guppies in here. And then Mama Guppy, we have her over here in a specimen container. She's going to be put back in the bigger tank. But we want to acclimate her, even though the water is very similar. You really have to be careful with fish. You don't want to ever shock them. That can kill them. So we put some of this water in there. It's mostly that water, and then I'm slowly adding water from this tank, which is a little bit cooler. Probably the pH is slightly different. But you can see how much thinner she is and more active she is. She's ready to go back, and of course the male and the female are ready to, I guess, establish territories or whatever. The male probably will want to mate with her again. But we did let her rest overnight. We put her in a little container. It's called it's like a birthing net container. This is what we had her in last night. After she finished birthing, we kept her in this tank, in this little net cage. And we kept her in there so she could rest but not get to her babies. And we fed her in there. And then this morning we are going to return her to this big tank, but at this point we are going to we have 5 tanks in here now. Of course, one is my goldfish tank. Nobody goes in the goldfish tank. They would eat the babies and the guppies and everything, maybe. But we have the 20-gallon upright, we've got these 2 10-gallons, and then this 55-gallon. And what we're going to have to try to do is we're going to make one tank with nothing but male guppies, one tank with nothing but female guppies, and then we have our baby tank. This is the one nursery tank. This is the newest batch of babies. Again, there must be at least 35-40 babies in this tank all over the place. And then these were born about a little more than a week ago. These are slightly larger babies from the other female. And I think I've counted there's around 16. These are already getting a little bit bigger. They're about a week old now. But this is our other baby tank. And then over here, this is our first batch. They're a month old now. And as you can see, they're really coloring up, getting big. In another week, we're going to sex them and separate them. There are 8 in all that survived the first breeding, or survived the first birthing here. That was right after they came, and I think that the mama gave birth a little bit premature. I think that's why a lot of them died. But our other 2 clutches of fry are doing very well. I don't think we've lost any of them. But see how colorful they're getting. Aren't they pretty? They're gorgeous little fish. And their tails will get bright red. The males will get bright red tails. I think, from what I've read and can tell, I think there are 8 fish in all, and I think I see 1 female and the rest 7 are males. For some reason, the males dominated in this Of course, we lost a lot. Maybe it was a lot of the females that died. I'm not sure. I'm trying to find the one that I think is a female. Where did she go? There's one here that I really think is a female. And there's little Freckles. Where is the female that I thought I saw? Can't find her. Oh, there she is up there. She has a much more colorful tail, but not as much black on her body. I think that's a female. And I think these are males. Anyway, that is our 20-gallon upright. We have to rearrange the tanks. Then we have a couple tanks empty in the garage. And today's my catch-up day on all the tanks. I have to do a lot of cleaning. It's our big 55-gallon. It has a lot of algae in it, which is a good sign. Actually, when you're getting a tank ready to put fish in it, the algae is a very good sign that the tank is seasoned properly. So I wanted to let some algae growth come. I'm going to have to use my algae scraper and clean. I got to clean this tank, got to clean this tank and the other nursery tank. Get all the, see all the uneaten food on the bottom. That's really bad. I got to get that out. When you have baby fish, you feed them a lot. They need to eat every couple hours like a newborn baby. And some of it just gets collected on the bottom. We feed baby brine shrimp. There's no waste with that, but you can't feed them nothing but brine shrimp, and we can't hatch them fast enough. I did get a second hatchery. I'll have to show you our hatchery. Anyway, this is getting long. I just thought I'd show you what was going on with us. And I'm about ready to add a little bit more of this water. In fact, I'll show you. I'm just gonna take with this measuring cup, and take a little bit more in here, make sure I don't have a fish in there, and add it to this container. And that's how you acclimate them from one tank to the other so you don't shock their systems. I'm trying to get the temperature. We have to get a thermometer on, not a thermometer, a heater. We have a nice heater for this tank. We don't have it on. But my goodness, I have a lot of cleaning to do in here today. Maybe I'll do an update tonight when I get it all cleaned up. Okay, guys. It's getting to be quite a production. We've got quite a few babies now. Hopefully we'll be able to start selling them in fish stores in about 2 more months. We'll start, and then that'll be just a continuous income for us. And all right. And thank you, Mama Guppy, for giving us so many beautiful babies. She had quite the job to do. Like I said, she was in labor for about 3 days before she actually birthed those babies. She was huge. Isn't she pretty? She got a beautiful tail. I call her Ema. Ema is the Hebrew word for mama. It's the big mama fish. And of course the other mama fish did a good job too. She didn't have quite so many, but she had a nice clutch of babies. Unfortunately, a lot of those got eaten by the male because we weren't expecting her to go in labor in the big tank. We didn't have anything ready for her.